Hey, the Peninsula Wellness Community Progress Update. Developer team presentation. The PWC 2.0 proposal. We have with us tonight a number of representatives. We've got Jay Grove, we've got Chip Gabriel, Matt Franklin is here from Mid-Penn. They are all involved together in putting this revised proposal together. And tonight is the opportunity for us to take a look at it and ask questions.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair Capel, members of the board, Ms. Fano. We appreciate the opportunity to update both you and the community. We're very excited to be here today. There's been a lot of work going on the past few months, and we have a number of proposed revisions to the project, keeping intact the original vision of the district, but we're enhancing it a bit with some modifications. We have a new member of our partnership and development team, which we'll introduce here in a minute. We're very excited about the addition of Mid-Penn and look forward to future discussions and moving this project forward. We're very excited to bring back the opportunity. This is a vision that was crafted some time ago by the district and one that is phenomenally progressive and innovative and really balances a true healthy aging community. The beauty of what we're going to talk about tonight is that it keeps all the original tenets of what you guys created to start intact. And that was a goal of ours because we believe that there are a number of aspects of all the aspects of what you guys wanted to accomplish as a district to start that are noteworthy and should be kept intact, and we've done that. First and foremost, this project will provide a tremendous amount of community benefit. This is a publicly accessible and intergenerational mixed use and mixed income community. It's focused on health, wellness, and community connectivity. The focus on health and wellness as a healthcare district obviously makes sense. We're looking to advance health promotion, disease prevention, and overall community wellness. Thirdly, we're looking at creating some really innovative traditional and non-traditional partnerships in the community. So this is very much a project that is for the community, and one where we'll reach out to various partners throughout the next couple of years to form specific partnerships around healthy aging. So what is different? Again, to reiterate, we've maintained the original Peninsula Wellness Community vision. This is a very innovative, healthy aging community. We have been able to finalize the land allocation that has been provided for the community, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So this is new information. So we're at about 6.5 acres of land that will be the footprint for the development going forward. We're really excited to be back. We've increased the number of affordable homes from 38 in the old proposal to 184 in the new proposal. That's an increase of 146 affordable housing units. And within that, we've also expanded the tiers of the affordability to address extremely low, very low, and moderate income. My name is Jay Grove. I'm a partner with PNB. We are a healthcare developer, and we will be partnering with both Generations and Mid-Penn in the development of this project. I'm joined by Chip Gabriel. Chip is the president and CEO of Generations, which is a seniors housing operator, developer, owner, and manager. And Matt Franklin and his team. Matt's the CEO of Mid-Penn Housing. A number of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with Mid-Penn's phenomenal work in the Peninsula area. So what is the current project as envisioned? Well, we have 477 unit housing unit community, again with 184 of those being affordable. We have a 100,000 square foot commercial building, which is the Center for Community Health. This will also include what has historically been referred to as the Hub Building, which is a community accessible, multi-purpose space that will be available not only for the residents of the community, but also not only the residents of the direct Peninsula Wellness community, but the greater community at large. And then there'll be code-required parking, on-site code-required parking to accommodate that. This is significantly less dense in terms of the square footage of the development than the last iteration. The last iteration had approximately 300,000 square feet of office space. We're down to 100 now. And we've increased the number of housing units by 100 with 146 additional affordable housing units. This is a little tough to read, so I apologize, but the blue outline area is an outline of the land that will be the basis for the Peninsula Wellness Community going forward. So that's 6.5 acres, all of which is owned and controlled by the Health District. To the upper right on the screen is Sutter Health's Mills Peninsula Medical Center, and Truesdale is to the upper left, and then Marco Polo Way is to the lower left for orientation purposes. This is a conceptual site plan of what we're looking at developing. A little tough to distinguish on the screen, but the areas in kind of the greenish yellow color, those are the residential structures, and the area, the rectangular shape to the upper left, darker red color, that is the office building. So we have the majority of the office space along Truesdale to have the access in and out off Truesdale. And then it'll very much be an integrated community. It's one big community without any distinguishing factors there. And Matt Franklin from Midpenn is going to talk a little bit more about the community and some of the affordability offers.
Great, thank you, Jay. Again, Matt Franklin with Midpenn Housing. I'm the CEO and president. With me is Nevada Merriman, who runs our region for our development team, and Andrew Belliak from our development team as well. So I just want to say how excited we are to have the opportunity to join this development team. We are big fans of the vision that you all have laid out. The idea of co-locating senior housing with health services in an active community, one that is planned for active spaces and active use, where the hub both provides services to the residential community but also to the broader community so that we can have an intergenerational setting, are all themes that Midpenn has been trying to drive towards in a number of our other developments. So we're based here in San Mateo County. Many of you may know we own and manage about 8,000 units in 10 counties, from sort of Monterey in the south to Napa and Sonoma in the north. We've tried to implement some of these themes in a much less ambitious and smaller scale. So it's really exciting to be part of this vision. This plan allows us in the building to the lower right to achieve also, in collaboration with our partners on the development team in the district, the delivery of a very substantial number of affordable housing. So as many of you know, our financing pushes us to do that in one building. It's the best way we can put the value of the land and any investment by the county to use to go leverage other money from the state and the federal sources that are available. This is for us a wonderfully sized building, one we have a lot of experience creating great living environments. The current approximation here is 152 units for that building. And we're also just extremely excited about the opportunity to be part of the Wellness Center and the hub. The plan, the ambition for that is incredible. The fact that our residents could have access to that with the market rate units and with the broader community is very exciting to us. We are both a developer and a property manager, so we are long-term owners. So we've never sold a property, we never intend to. We're in this for the long haul. We self-manage our properties, we employ all the way to the maintenance person. And we do that because we're committed to creating a great living environment and being great neighbors. So just a little more about us. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. This is just a concept plan. We're eager to get to the next stage, which is going to be deep engagement with the community, with the neighbors, with all interested parties to figure out how to make this, truly interconnected, and so that it really functions as an active campus, to make this interact with the neighborhood in a way that is permeable and that gives access to the campus and is inviting. A design and a scale that works for the neighbors. There's all sorts of really exciting work ahead of us, and we're eager to engage with others on. So, is this forward? Nope, it's back. So just a little bit on the affordability tiers. So that should really say low income, not extremely low. So the building right now, we're thinking the 152 for sure will be low income, which is defined as 60% of area median and lower. There will be some number possibly of extremely low as well. That's really to be determined based on input from the community and from the county. So our building will be entirely low income with possibly some extremely low as well. And then there's another, that's the 152 units, and there's another 32 units that will be set at moderate income. So that's typically defined as sort of in the 80 to 120% of the area median income. So as we're doing the community outreach, we can provide more information on that, what exactly those incomes translate into, show you our experience with those different populations. The 152 units, again, is a population that we have a lot of experience with. It's the entirety of our 8,000 units. So I think that's it on the affordability. And then Chip's going to talk some about the community benefit.
Thank you. I'm Chip Gabriel with Generations. We are an owner-operator of senior housing communities on the West Coast. We're super excited to selling our family's 76th year of serving seniors in this industry. And we're excited about becoming a part of this community and the updated design we've been able to put together here. One of the things that in the years that we've been doing this, what's become very apparent for the seniors that we've served over these decades is they like the services, they like the amenities, they like things that allow them to age comfortably and healthy. Consistently, the one thing they don't like is all the old people that are there. So the last several projects that we've done and worked with, we've listened to them, and we want to make it very community focused. Historically, senior housing has been, people want a safe, secure apartment, and it becomes kind of portable. A lot of seniors say they live there, they get put away. And that's not what we want to do. We want our residents and the residents who are going to live here are going to be an active part of the community. And the way we need to do that is to engage many ways so the community can actively participate on this campus as well. Some of the services and amenities that will be here for the residents who live there, but also for their neighbors and the general public, is we'll have a large health and fitness center. We have restaurants and cafes. We have urban gardens, gets quite competitive. We also have a large open space here for the public. This site plan, the actually runs right down the middle of it, and so it creates a wonderful opportunity to have a large landscape and we envision to be a part of the community in our neighborhood. We also do a lot of work at our other communities with the local schools in our community to engage them to participate and do programs, services, and education on this community, on this campus. People have talked about, all the schools have got nice auditoriums and stuff, and they've got great places to do the performance. But for the seniors who live there, it's not accessible to them as easily. So we do as much as we can to work with schools, with the art community, whether it's music, drama, those type of things, to provide spaces and opportunities for them to be on campus, not just for our residents, but for the general public to participate in that as well. Something that we've become very purposeful also, which we're very excited about, is we've done a lot with creating career paths for our employees. This starts out with working with the local schools, typically high schools, to get some of their students working part-time with us to understand about career paths that work with them. One of our communities in San Diego, very excited about a woman who started out as a wait staff working part-time while she was going to school. We helped sponsor her in college. She's in Peninsula. She's now our assistant living manager. We'll be completing her MBA next month, and we're looking forward to her career path to continue to grow with us. These are the type of things we like to do with the schools that are part of the community as well. Something that we also really think is going to start evolving is healthcare is such a critical issue for our nation, and how healthcare is delivered is going to have to be done differently because we can't afford to keep doing it the way we are. We can all have our opinions of what that's going to be, but population health management is very critical. A community like this with our HUD building, with the medical space, with Sutter Health right there, creates unique opportunities for us to help manage and deliver healthcare both for the seniors who live on our campus, but also for the general population that's in the area. Typically, at all of our communities, 80% of the residents who live there come from about a 5-mile radius. The other 20% usually has an adult child who lives in that community. So this campus will be for the residents of the healthcare district. It's their neighborhood, it's their communities, it's where they've lived for a long time, it's where they've shopped, it's where their doctors are, it's where their faith groups are. We want to continue to enhance that as they live in this community. For the residents who live there, we think, we hope this is their last home. And it's our goal as people who work with our residents live there, we want to help them write the last chapters of their life the way they want that to be. That should be full, it should be engaged, it should be wonderful, it should be a wonderful experience. How we do this is we work with our residents and their families to help understand the financial things that go with them. A lot of this is through education. Our wellness center and our staff works with them with fitness, with mobility. We also understand the changes of daily living and lifestyle as people go through the aging process. We're able to, with scale like this, provide caregiving, care coordination, those services that people can't get in their own home. This creates a full and wonderful life, not something that's isolated and alone. Many things are going on in our education with brain health. Dementia has become a huge crisis in our nation. Thanks to medicine, people are living longer, and now we're dealing with diseases of the brain that we didn't have to deal with 10 and 20 years ago. Something else that we really try to incorporate is for our residents to feel like they have engagement and purpose. It's easy to feel isolated. There's a wealth of opportunities that's close to this healthcare district. You know, Gate Path is represented here tonight. How our residents can engage with schools, with other things that adds value to life in a very simple, programmatic way that we can do for them that makes it feel special. And then finally, we like to talk and educate to our residents about end of life. That's something that it's not easy, but if you talk about it before it's an acute event, it makes it a much more wonderful experience for the families and the residents about to talk about it before it's an acute event. Too often we don't do that. We think it's a part of our mission to help our residents learn that and their families understand what could happen, what options do you have to do that proactively when you can talk about it together. One of the things that's incredibly exciting about the opportunity here with the Peninsula Wellness community is just the wealth of providers, educational institutions, technology companies, and many other things that we think is unique to this project. We've listed up here some of the people we've had discussions with: Mission Hospice and Home Care, Aging 2.0, Sutter Health, the San Mateo County Health. There's so many opportunities that we see this as really an incubator of what the future can be, not just for this community, but as a role model for a lot of other places throughout the nation. So we appreciate you being here tonight. And hand over back to Dick.
So where do we go from here? We would be one of the asks of the development team this evening for the board is to cancel the December scheduled town hall event. We're going to plan to come out in January with our community outreach, community outreach program that will be extensive and very deep. We'll continue to refine the planning and the design. We'll start to look at the entitlement course of action that will occur and work through our constructability and construction pricing over the next 6 to 12 months. With that, that concludes the presentation. I believe the board is going to have a discussion at this point.
Thank you so much, all three of you. I do appreciate it. Now we want to give the public an opportunity to comment on the proposal. So, all right, give you the ground rules. We'll strictly adhere to the ground rules. You step up to the microphone. Give this one here. Announce your name, and then you have up to 3 minutes. And 3 minutes, the floor opens up and we fall through.
I'm Martinovich, living in Paris Lane, right in the middle of the block. And over here, we got too much traffic, buses going on. People parking in my driveway. and I can't get in my own garage. You know? This plan, what they plan to build it something, is not good for the neighborhood, it's a residential area. You know? And you have to think about the people that live there for many years. You know? That's not fair to us. Because when there's too much traffic going on, now it's terrible. On the morning or afternoon, when we've got 3 schools around there in the 3 or 4 blocks. 3 schools, not 1, 3. And there's too much traffic. And the buses going on. And on the morning, I can't get in my garage. On afternoon, when the school's over, I can't get in my garage because of the too much traffic. And that is not fair to us. Okay? So I would like the board think about maybe it's a good plan, but in my opinion, it's not good. So you should think over it and decide to see if you do the better things, something to build it there, and not think they're finally do enough. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Carolyn Crow. I live in Burlingame. I'm also on the board of North and Central Counties League of Women Voters. And it's a housing, director of housing. I have a planning degree, a city planning degree. We favor as many affordable units as possible. Understanding that sometimes seniors with that are also affordable needing. But smaller units, we're glad to see how many there are here. But if you could increase the number of affordable units, that would make us very happy. The focus of mental health and educational coordination, one of the concerns is trying to minimize, you're right, the site is very near Mill Brain, BART station, and very near El Camino with all of its buses. So it's a great place for lower-income workers, which are badly need housing on the peninsula at this time. So focusing on the workers in the mill center, for example, and around to minimize the traffic, but also make these units accessible to the public transit is very important.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, my name is Brian Perkins. I'm the district director for Congresswoman Jackie Spear, and the Congresswoman wanted to let you know that she's pleased with the plan. There's been a lot of discussion with the district over a number of months, in fact, over a year at this point. And clearly the district has listened to the residents who are asking for a significant share of the development to be dedicated to persons who have low incomes. She appreciates that the district consulted with housing experts such as New Penn, and that the outcome is development that will serve all income levels. There's always going to be a discussion about traffic and about congestion and so forth. But one of the other things to keep in mind is it's a senior development, and as such, the traffic impacts are probably less than it would be if it was a general population development. What we also know is that seniors within this community are being forced out, particularly when they're low-income seniors. I was just looking at a county report. 30% of your gross income means that you're spending an appropriate amount, anything above 30% means that it's too much. And the percentage of the population in San Mateo overall that spends 30% or more is 47%, but 2/3 of our senior population spend too much. 2/3 spend more than 30%. So this is a well-targeted plan. It's been well thought out. It'll develop over time, of course, change over time. I want to thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, my name is Sandra Lang. I've lived in this community for 50 years. Can you hear me now? Okay. Just, I gotta grow a little bit. Thank you. I've served 12 years on the County Commission on Aging, but presently I'm serving very proudly on the Paratransit Coordinating Council. So I urge you to look into when you get into the public consider definitely the need for mobility. And some people who now use paratransit, and particularly Ready Meals, already have an established relationship with that agency. So I think that this is a very exciting plan, but traffic and mobility should definitely be considered as you look into it, because as I'm just finished saying, that there's a lot of structure already in place for people to get around. And then finally, that when you build something, you have to make sure that there's accessibility for these other services that would come into the development. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Chet Lexfold. I'm a resident of San Mateo. I'm on the board of directors for Ombuds Services of San Mateo County, which advocates for residents in long-term care facilities. And my wife and I have lived in San Mateo for 6 years, and we're both on that board. I'm not speaking on behalf of the board tonight, but I do know that some of the statistics cited by Representative Spears' aide were very accurate. 2/3 of seniors are spending over 30% of their income on their housing. And so I'd like to see much more affordable housing units in this particular development. I'd like to see 100%. I don't know why a public agency that owns this incredibly valuable land would be building any market rate housing whatsoever. We know that seniors can find market rate senior living facilities almost anywhere in this county. And we need to have a desperate need for more affordable housing units. So I would really much prefer to see 100% affordable housing on this property. It is, like I said, incredibly valuable property. And if it's owned by the public, it should be used for the best public good. So thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Ben Long from the Center for Independence of Individuals with Disabilities. I've been through many of these town halls, been part of much of the progression of opening the possibility of affordable housing. I like the way it's going. I would like to see it progress more. But I thank you for bringing us to where we are today. I also want to shine a light on the need for accessible housing as well. Because obviously people with disabilities depend on both of these elements to live in the community in a proactive way. So the more strides we can make towards making these units accessible, that will really complete the vision for people with disabilities and what we need to see here in San Mateo County, which is affordable, accessible housing. So any steps that you could take to make that come to fruition would be very much valuable and very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, I'm Jan Stokely, Executive Director of Housing Choices. We're a nonprofit housing organization with an office in Burlingame, focused on addressing the housing needs of adults with developmental disabilities and their families. I've been participating in the project and I'm happy to see the progress that's been made. I particularly applaud the decision to bring Mid-Penn Housing into the development team. They're an experienced affordable housing developer and will do a great job. I'm encouraged to see the increase in the number of affordable units, but I do feel that significant progress should be made in that area as well. On a daily basis, we're dealing with families of kids with disabilities who really need to continue to live in San Mateo County because because their public school support is here, their healthcare support is here, their services, family members, a whole network of people and relationships that make it possible to really, for a child with developmental disabilities to thrive. And for adults with developmental disabilities who have extremely low income, they're really being pushed out of the county because of the lack of affordable housing. So we need more affordable housing in this project. We need more income targeting towards the extremely low income level and the very low income level. And then I would also urge you to think about the workforce. We are one of many nonprofits that are struggling on a daily basis to hire and retain people who will work at the salary levels that we can pay. I'm sure healthcare is slightly better than us, probably maybe even more, a lot better, but I'm sure you have the same workforce challenges that we have. And so you need to work on incorporating housing at a level that makes it possible for people who are working in your healthcare facilities, for people who are working with the nonprofit social service agencies, to continue to live in this county. Because without that workforce, we're not going to have a strong, vibrant, intergenerational community. So just to sum up, please focus on increasing the number of affordable units, provide for income targeting for extremely low income, include people with disabilities, and think about the workforce that housing levels and what their income and rent levels need to be so that they can stay here and work at this beautiful project and other nonprofit agencies.
Thank you very much. Next.
Good evening. A little bit taller. Good evening, my name is Sean Strebel. I'm a resident of Burlingame. I'm also a special ed teacher, and I sit on the board of directors of Housing Choices, the nonprofit that Jan just spoke about. We work to find housing and develop housing for people with disabilities. And so I come at this topic with a lot of personal interest. We are facing a major housing crisis in this area, as all over the Bay and all over the country. And while I'm encouraged by a lot of things I see in this project, I like to urge those who are making the decisions to include more affordable housing, particularly housing for those with disabilities and those who work in our communities on a daily basis. We simply cannot continue on the path that we're on now. And I think it's very important to keep in mind that there are a lot of people struggling out there, a lot of people who need more affordable housing. So again, we would urge you to consider more affordable housing, as affordable as possible, so that as many people in our community as can afford their housing and afford to stay in our community. So thank you so much for your attention and your time.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, I'm Linda Dyson, and I live in Burlingame. My name is Linda Dyson, and I live on Clarice Lane, and it sounds to me that we have chosen the people that are going to build out this 6.5 acre parcel. And what I would like to see is some of the other units, other areas that they have already built out. I'm a visual person. I want to see what it's going to look. You know, I realize that this is larger, but I want to see generally what the construction looks like, what the layout is, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm going to talk briefly on Michael Grounding on Burlingame City Council. I'm not going to opine on the project because it may come before the city and I don't want to prejudice that, but I want to thank the district board for amending the prior plan. I want to support the comments of many that we appreciate seeing additional affordable housing, and I particularly want to thank the board for bringing in an affordable housing developer, because it takes a special builder to know how to get that stuff done. So thank you for all that. The reason I came to the microphone is really to address our residents who live in the neighborhood. We care very much about traffic and parking. We can deal with some of these issues even before any dirt gets turned, so come and talk to us in the city. And the nice thing about having a single project manager like the Peninsula Healthcare District is that we can work in the approval process on what are called transit demand management systems, so that we can make sure that travel doesn't impact the local residents. So I just want to make it clear for anybody who lives in the neighborhood that we're here to make sure this all works for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you. My name is Laura Hines. I'm a lifetime resident of Burlingame, and I do appreciate the efforts that you've made. And although it seems like you've greatly increased your affordable housing, it seems like it's segregated. So the lower or moderate income is across the way separated from your market rate income housing. So I'm wondering how that would look. So what happens many times when people plan for their retirement, especially if they're not extremely well off, well, those pensions and income just doesn't stretch as far as they might think, and especially if they started there at age 55. So just a scenario. So you're doing well, you've been there in the community, now you're 60, 70 years old, but your income isn't stretching. So do you have to move to the back lot? I'm just trying to envision how that would look. I believe that this housing should be 150% affordable because it is on public land. And I'm sorry for the mistake of saying extremely low income, because I was kind of excited about that, but I guess that's debatable in the future. Is that correct? So I also wonder if intergenerational, so we're talking the 2 generations maybe, because it doesn't seem intergenerational to me. It seems like maybe a little old, 55, and then a little older. Is that the generational that is correct? I'm asking those questions. And also, who needs to be closer to the hospital than our residents that are disabled, no matter their age? I'm wondering. And so I'm hoping that we can have further talks and more discussion about an increased amount of affordable housing and kind of desegregating the income levels. I'm wondering, who is it that's offended living near somebody that's moderate income or lower income? Nobody I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Susan Ray. I live in San Mateo. I'm very, very happy to see the improvement in the new package, but I'm still wondering, this is community property. This is property that is owned by our local community, and I really feel that we should be putting that up for the best for the community's benefit, which means we need to provide housing for our elderly, for our workers, for anyone that cannot afford the skyrocketing cost of housing. I also want to encourage you to do more supportive housing, whether this is for someone with physical disabilities or mental illness. We have very few places in San Mateo County where you're aging with mental health issues. Where do you live? This is for me, it's a very important topic to me personally, because I have a family member. It's very important that I think we as a community we're looking at expanding. What are we offering here? And I'd really like to see 100% affordable housing, that this is something built for the public good and not for money, not for any profit-making here. If you must have the office building in order to help support this, but I want to see as much affordable housing as possible. We have such great need in this community, and this is a property that we all own. My taxes have gone to this all my life. I want to see that money being well spent and helping out those in my community that haven't been able to buy a home and are trying to make it in this rental market. It is so hard, and your workers don't have a place to live. I just want to say thank you. It's much better, but please, let's do better.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Good evening, my name is Leora Tomarko-Ross. I'm here on behalf of the Housing Leadership Council of San Mateo County. Our mission is to work with communities and their leaders to create and preserve quality, affordable homes. Obviously, I'm here tonight to thank you for all of the work that you put into this plan to increase the number of affordable homes. I think that when we talk about housing and homes and units, I think we sometimes get away from the vision that we have, which is people walking to their doctor's appointments or enjoying the lovely outdoor spaces that we saw in the plan, or reading a book in the library. And we support this vision. We support as many extremely low-income homes as are feasible, and as many affordable homes as are feasible. So I think a lot of people took my talking points by how much we need housing, who needs housing, everybody needs housing. So thank you for your work, and thank you for bringing this vision.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Good evening, my name is Anna Brown, and I live just about 3 blocks from where this proposed project. I hate to keep talking about the traffic and the congestion, but that is a big concern of ours. Although it may be correct that a lot of seniors don't drive, I think that many seniors are living more healthier, and that they do drive. If they don't drive, they still have caregivers, they have family, and there was no talk that I heard this evening, and I haven't come to all the meetings, but about, we're talking about increasing the housing, but there wasn't any talk about increasing the parking. Parking for the residents, parking for people that care for them, parking for family members. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration. There's that beautiful building, the Truesdale, that was built there, and I have noticed that I can no longer park in Magnolia. I can no longer park, even in the Lenardi Plaza, because it's being taken up, I believe, by people who are working there. So consideration also needs to be taken for employees, people that are working there as well. Where are they going to park? And I don't think that these issues have been properly addressed. Although we've now increased, housing and affordable housing for seniors, I think we also need to have a discussion about affordable housing for everyone in general. There are many people that are being pushed out of this area. My one daughter who has moved out of state because can't afford to live here, and another one who is struggling because she's a teacher trying to live here in this area. So I think that we also need to maybe look at plans for affordable housing for those people as well.
Thank you so much. Next, please.
Hi, good evening. I'm Eileen Easterbrook, and I'm a resident in Burlingame. I'm also a parent of a young adult developmental and intellectual disabilities. And I want to say I'm really glad to see that you have brought in Mid-Penn Housing to work with affordable housing units. One of the concerns I heard tonight was when Mid-Penn said there may be, but they're not sure, any extremely low affordable housing. People with intellectual disabilities, they live on SSI, they may or may not be able to work. And they do get services from the state and the federal government, so the services issue isn't a problem. It's affording houses. and places to live. And they need those 30 to 40 years after their parents pass away. So I think you need to have them as part of this community. My daughter's raised here. People up and down Burlingame Avenue would know her. People at Safeway checking out. People know them in this community. And it's not just my child, because I know it's lottery. It's for the whole developmental disability community. But you need more units. I would also suggest that if you're looking at where you have land, put more. The one thought occurred to me, because I see this coming down from Health and Human Services at the federal government level, is pushing people out into the community. So it's kind of interesting to me that you're trying to bring them into this community, as opposed to using our Burlingame Rec Center in the afternoon, or Millbrae Rec Center in the afternoon, to have seniors out in the community and people with disabilities out in the community, as opposed to building whatever, a gym, an exercise room, and maybe a stage to bring people in. Because a lot of, even the Y, I talked to the director of the YMCA, and they're looking for uses for these wonderful facilities we have already in the middle of the day, because people come and exercise in the morning and in the evening. So we have the rec center empty during the day. So maybe if you look at your hub, or that whatever recreational or gym facility is there that you think people are going to come to you, why not buy some vans? Why not take seniors out into the community and integrate them in the community, as opposed to hoping people will come to this center? Just a thought in terms of how to get more units for affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else wishes to comment at this time? If not, we'll move to a board discussion. Yeah, Frank?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was elected 3 years ago, and I didn't know what I was getting into. But my predecessors had worked on this for a long time, and I think we have a really excellent project here, at least at this stage. And I think the public has to understand that just because you get engaged doesn't mean that you're going to be going on a honeymoon at some point. So there will be changes to this. We're going to have a lot of, as you heard from the gentleman who spoke, we're going to have a lot of public input, more than tonight. All of us will be better educated as the months go by. And so the project you see today is not in stone, so please don't worry about that. I guess I have two personal comments. One is that when I started this after being elected, that I started hearing speakers about affordable housing. And I think all of us to one degree or another are cognizant that there's a crisis, that there are problems. You know, you read it in the newspapers, you hear it on TV, etc. But the specifics of it, I was never that educated about. I'm being very candid with all of you. And so we had speakers for a year come and educate us, certainly educate me, I must say. And I think there were two women that made a real impression on me, and that was they stood up and they talked about their grandmothers, and one of them talked about her mother, and that it's fine if you have a home and now you want to sell it, and therefore you use those monies for a unit to live in somewhere, whether it's an apartment or a smaller house or whatever, that's fine. But there's so many people who don't have that investment. They don't have that home. And what are they going to do? That made the greatest impression on me of everyone else that spoke. And I think this project speaks to people of that nature. Whether or not they live in the units that Chip's going to do, or there'll also be 10% affordable housing, or whether or not the mid-end units, which would go all the way down to extremely low, it's a broad spectrum of seniors who will be able now to afford this. I'm not educated about how large this is compared to other projects, but I'm willing to bet that this project is perhaps the largest one of its nature in Northern California. Maybe, if it's not the largest, it's certainly one of the largest. On some of the comments that were made tonight, I think the one on disabilities is something that we have to check with our partners here to make sure that there is a good number of those units that are disability or ADA or whatever accessible to people. I it's an excellent issue. On transportation, yes, we've been talking transportation since day one. And at least initially, the entrances, the main entrances are going to be on Truesdale to try to ameliorate that problem. And again, on a personal note, some of the people that have been here for almost all our meetings. I have a son and a daughter. My daughter, a year ago, took her family up to Truckee to live, because she couldn't afford it, and she was sick and tired of the traffic, also by my dad. My son, 2 months ago, who lived in Tracy, taught at San Francisco State, commuted, stayed at our house in Burlingame, slept for 2 hours, and went and taught, and then went back to his family. He gave up the ghost, and he's moved to Reno. So we're talking to somebody who's been there, and I am there with my family and my grandchildren. So please, these 5 people, we've been fortunate tonight for 5 people. We're very much there with you. We want to do it right, as does the city council here. I'm getting a little emotional about it, but thank you very much for coming. It's going to be a good project. Thank you.
Rick, Ellen, any comments?
Dr. Rick Navarro. I think I have it's my 4th term now on the board, so it's coming up on 16 years. We looked at this quite a while back. We had hired some experts to tell us what our greatest needs were. And one of the things they pointed out to us was that we're experiencing the so-called silver tsunami. All these folks born in the 50s and 60s, the baby boomers, which I'm part of, becoming a huge portion of the population, and seeing a very large need for housing and services for those folks. And a lot of people, even at that time, those years back, were seeing parents and grandparents getting moved out to Fresno and Modesto because they couldn't find a place around here. So we've been working with these partners, we've been listening to the community, and I'm very pleased with the plan and the way it's been changing. I think this will be a huge benefit to the community. And just on a personal note, I have, my wife and I are physicians, so we're pretty well to do, but we have 4 children. My oldest daughter is on SSI, she has cerebral palsy. I got 3 kids that are working, they're all well educated. None of them can afford to buy a house in the Bay Area. So we're all very, very cognizant of the struggles that are going on. We hear you, and we will continue to listen to you. We may have more community outreach. I encourage everybody to come in January. There'll be more kind of a question and answer sort of thing than what we have here tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Helen.
My name's Helen, and I am very excited to be working with Chip and Jake and Mid-Penn Housing. I think that, we have listened and we have, am I
Can
not?
you speak up, please, or?
Okay.
No, it's off. You got it off.
Press 1 more time.
So, okay, so my name's Helen, and microphones don't like me. Anyway, I am very pleased to be working with Chip and Jake and Mid-Penn Housing. I think that we've got a great team of workers together. I think people need to understand that this is a work in progress. We have been working on this for 7 or 8 years at least, with this group of individuals for several years, not 7 or 8, but several years. And they do great projects. And when they say intergenerational, they mean that they work within the senior housing, but they bring the other generations into their housing so that you're not just, putting your elderly folks or your own self, because I'm one of those that could participate in that. That they include the entire community in their own smaller community. And so I think that we've got a good project going. I think it's going to evolve over time, and I look forward to the answers to some of your questions that will come at the town hall meetings as we go on further to discuss. I think it's important to understand that as much as we need affordable housing, because I have a combined family of 5, and 2 are in the area barely making it, and 3 have chosen not to live in the area because it's too expensive to live. So it's not that we don't understand the plight of what's going on, because all 5 of our children are impacted, and it's very difficult to keep the family together when everybody is so far apart. I think that this project will develop in a good way. I think people need to understand that, one project isn't going to fix the problem of the area. I mean, there's affordable housing crisis all over. There's been an affordable housing crisis for years and years and years. And it has not been dealt with. I think nobody anticipated what was going to go on in our community. There would be such a huge build out from the tech industry and other Facebook and Google and everybody that has greatly impacted our community. And our small health care district is not going to fix that, and we are limited in those that we can serve, so we can't do workforce housing, for instance. But we're doing the best we can, and I think we have a great project, and I can't wait to see it get off the ground and be able to help the people that we can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. And just to wrap up my comments, I've been on the board now for 10 years, and I'm very excited about this project. I was not as excited about this project 18 months ago, 2 years ago. I felt that we owed it to the community to put more affordable units in, and as we all evolved on the board, it became clear that there was one route that we could explore, and I'm glad that our developers, who I'm very impressed with, reached out to an entity that is well known and well respected in the community, Max Group. I think we've got a dynamite team for a project of this sort. I listened to all the comments that you just mentioned in the public comment, and I'll just tick quickly through a couple of these and let you know that these are not new topics for us. The first is traffic. We've already done a number of traffic studies, and we'll certainly do more. That's something to look at. I will talk about 2 things, however. I have an aunt who's a youngster, 99, who's living in an assisted living facility down in Los Angeles, and every time I've gone to see her, it's a breeze parking for me because there's no other cars in the parking lot. I think we're going to find that the cities in general have much more severe limitations placed on developments than they need be. So I think traffic is certainly a major consideration, and it's one that we want to make sure does not negatively impact our residents in any way. And I'm sure the city feels the same way, by the way. Mr. Browner mentioned that the city will put some restrictions on us, and I'm sure they will. And so I think that's going to be mitigated in our favor. The disabilities population is extremely important to us. Maybe this isn't the project to service that population. And we have discussed this at our board level, and we've talked about, gee, what if? After this project gets off the ground, what can we do with some of the other special needs groups? And that is one of the special needs groups that we have talked about. We've had discussions with GatePath. I would like to see more discussions with GatePath on that. A lack of workforce housing, I think Helen Gallagher mentioned that we simply are not allowed to do that. We're restricted to some extent on that. Can there be ways around that? I don't know. There's always ways around things if we seek out hard enough. The segregated units, I thought that was an interesting question. But I believe there are restrictions on why units are planned as they are. And I'm sure that will come up in some of the discussions that the development team will be dealing with when we have the town hall meetings. 100% supported housing is another special interest group that we talked about, and we think there's a need for. As Helen mentioned, we're not Google, so we can't build willy-nilly, but maybe we can do something that helps a number. Frank mentioned that this is a large project. It is a large project. I believe it's the largest affordable housing project in the county. And so some of the comments that have come our way, I'm proud to say we're one of the larger builders of affordable housing. It could be larger, maybe. But we also have to have balance. And I think the idea of the hub and the supportive services, professional office building is going to play a much stronger role than many of us have realized. You know, as I get older, and I'm getting older, I can tell you that every morning when I get up, it tells me I am. But as I get older, every physician in this community gets older. And they start to drift away for whatever reason. And we're losing a lot of physicians in this community for lots of reasons, the major one being, of course, the cost of housing. They can live much more comfortably in Topeka, Kansas than they can in Burlingame. Weather might not be the same, but they can do much better in those areas, and frankly, that's why they're going there. You know, we have out-migration in California that's at an all-time high, and we haven't really found a way to solve that. But if it gets out of hand, like it's starting to get, we're not going to have physicians here to treat all of us as we get older. And unfortunately, as we get older, we need a few more services than we did when we were younger. This project, in my opinion, is the epitome of the dialogue which is occurring all around the country, but very little has been happening on this, of the integration of health and housing. Some people deny the relationship. Well done. There's a heck of a relationship between access to housing, no matter the level, although there's variations in the leveling, access to housing and one's overall health. So if we are going to be a healthy population long into the future, we need to have housing such as this. You know, I have a mother who is 98 and a half, as she tells me, who was forced out of her home in Lake Tahoe because Lake Tahoe doesn't have these facilities. And so she's down in Gardner, and trying to get to Gardner during the wintertime. It's tough, you know, but she calls every day saying, "When are you coming?" And that's something that we just have to deal with. But I believe in access to good housing for everybody that we can provide housing to. I believe in balance between housing, which is a major need, and all the other major needs that somehow we don't talk too much about. It's a good project. Thank you so much. I would like to proceed to 5A4, action and consideration. Authorize the developer team to proceed with planning and entitlement activities under the exclusive negotiating agreement. I'll second. Yes. This is it. This is it. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes. Now we're looking at 5A-B, proceed with negotiation of a term sheet for the ground leasing and disposition of development agreement as contemplated by the ENA. I so move. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes. And authorize district staff to negotiate for board review and approval the second amendment to the ENA with the developer team, including updates to the remaining developer scopes of work and associated schedule of performance. We need a second. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. One comment before we adjourn that it's been agreed to eliminate December 3rd town hall meeting and move that to after the first of the year when the developer team takes over and begins their community engagement activities. So, anybody opposed to that on the board? Okay. With that, there's a move to adjourn. We are so